on the exhibition site of Smart China Expo 2021. I'm gonna take you into this expo, and let's see what's the science flavors in this expo. As you can see, that is robotic on the move. In the gala of the Spring Festival, we've seen this robot. This robot can deliver things. Now it's not moving right now. Let's move on. Because of the epidemic, this expo is conducted both online and offline. In addition to the journalists, some visitors and exhibitors, more people are getting the contents through online platforms. Because it is a smart expo, there will be a lot of high-tech contents, particularly smart technologies in this expo. For example, smart traveling. This is a big screen for smart parking. May I ask who is the responsible person? Could you please introduce yourself? We show the digital economy and smart traveling products in my company called Meitian. We use AI algorithm, cloud computing, big data to gather all of the data about transportation and upload the information to our smart brain. Then we can improve the traffic condition by about 20%. So what are the scenarios for its application? In the entire smart traveling sector, we are the only one to cover all of the scenarios. With just one button, you can find your parking place. Could you introduce about the screen? That's the big data platform for smart parking. It can reflect all of the information of parking nationwide. You could see the number of parking spaces, and there are different types of parking spaces. For example, the vertical parking space. On this map, it's a hotspot map. You can see where is a vacancy, and you can book the parking lot. And then with your navigation, you could navigate towards the parking place. And then you could see our revenues and our total orders and the number of users. And we are supervised, of course, in the market. If it shows 0, that means this parking lot is all taken and unavailable. Yes. What is the distribution scenario? We have distributed about 100,000 parking places nationwide. In the next 3 years, we aim to raise the number to 1 million. Because usually when we park by the roadside, it's charged, and there will be some manpower to charge us. What about you? We have cameras, we have the poles to check the tolls, and we hope to reduce manpower. Instead, we harness the power of the smart equipment and devices to reduce the manpower. That will effectively improve the management level of the city. And in the final analysis, people will enjoy the convenience from our smart technologies. In terms of smart parking, compared to the traditional parking, how do you perform to increase the efficiency? We have static transportation and dynamic transportation. We belong to static transportation. In the future, if we can produce more smart products, getting into and out of the parking place would be very easy. We could collect the evidence through the cameras. We just take photos when the users enter into the parking lot, and when they leave, we don't need a toll place to check them out, and that's very quick. So parking is more efficient. And secondly, when I get enough information, finding the parking lot will be very easy. Right now, we have asymmetry in the information, but in the future, if you can get precise data about the parking place, there will be less traffic congestion on the road. And thirdly, we can build more vertical parking buildings to park the cars. That would also help to improve the efficiency of traveling. You're an expert in smart parking. So, in your opinion, what will be the trend of traveling? And what can smart parking help the civilians in practicality? Smart parking will be relevant to smart transportation and traveling because our focal point is about the smart technology. So, be it the vertical parking technology or vertical parking places, when all of those products and systems are connected, we can offer convenience to the civilians. All of the services can be conducted with just one click of the button. For example, finding the parking place and navigating to the destination. So in the future, it will be just a grand picture for traveling. We aim to help carbon peaking in 2030. Thank you for your time. Now let's move to the next pavilion.
刚才听到非常专业的给我们讲了讲，就是未来智慧交通这一块是如何通过大数据，通过这种智慧来解决我们平常出行难、停车难，包括真难和假难的这些。
Just now we learned how to solve the pain points of parking with the smart technology.
在现场还是有很多的这种展商，每家展商都是有各自的一些特点。
There are so many exhibitors right now. Everyone has their own features. They have their unique strength in their own industry. Now let's move to the main exhibition hall and discover more technologies.
大家也可以看一下，虽然是没有对公众开放，但是里面参观的人还是比较多的。
Though it's not open entirely to the public, the exhibition has received a lot of visitors already. There used to be a map of smart transportation in this main hall, and the transportation is very relevant to the general public's lives, including environmental protection and the river chief system. So this map is about the river chief. And here, those are some industry robots. As you know, with the technological development, more factories are adopting the robotics to have manless plants. This one robot is for surveillance and fire extinguishing. So you may see the presence of this robot in many rescue scenes. With professional design, it can automatically move to extinguish fire. It can replace the role of the firefighters to conduct many dangerous tasks in dangerous places. That could further curb the occurrence of any derivative or secondary danger. In our lives, like in rescue conditions, such robots are very helpful. Those are about the batteries. That's a car that can manage autonomous driving. It discovers a small car in front of it on the screen, so it automatically controls itself. That's a power generation emergency control center. Through this control center, it can get an idea about the overall consumption in the industry, overall power consumption of the civil sector. Here we find a typical application in the automobile sector. It's a 5G plus industry internet surveillance. Could you introduce about your technology? For the automobile industry, we develop a welding surveillance system. The feature about this system is that we have our own optical camera. On the screen, you can see that our professional camera differentiates itself, particularly in the complex scenarios. Our cameras can delete the intervention of the complexities in the environment. And with our technology, like the static spectrum technology, we could get an idea about the spraying fire spots and their trajectory, so we can picture the pathway of those flying fire spots. My name is Zheng Daoqing. I am a founder of the company. Could you introduce the difference of your camera and your application scenarios? We are a smart spectrum camera. For example, on the welding line, the usual cameras cannot manage such a scenario because of the excessive exposure to the lights, but for our camera, we can capture the movements of the sparkles in the welding site. So you can get the trajectory of the sparkles, yes, and also the camera will not be intervened by the other objects. As you know, usually the traditional cameras may have overexposure. In such a condition, it can capture only white color. And what are the application scenarios, usually in welding? Because in the welding business, there may be some carbon particles attached. So that will undermine the intensity of the welding, and the welding results will be undermined as well. So do you have some requirements to apply to this business? According to our experience, within 0.5 meter distance, the welding effects are usually the best. If the distance of the sparkles are more than 2 meters, then the welding products are unqualified. With AI technology, we solve a pain point in the welding business. We have our smart camera to capture the trajectory of the sparkles. And with the parameters on the backstage, we compare the data and then we get a premium model. So we give the order and instruction to the welding robots. When the robot can control the distance of the traveling sparkles to the premium distance, then that can get the best result of welding. How to reduce the cost? As you can see, when we are welding, the traditional technique usually paint for the first layer, and then when there is another layer of the carbon particles, our robots will try to move it out, and with our technology's intervention, it can reduce the usage of the materials, and it can also reduce manpower. And we can also greatly reduce the ratio of defective products by about 20%. What are the other application scenarios? In manufacturing sector, they all have to go through welding process, and when there is welding, the sparkles are existent. So sparkles are like a pain point. And our products are quite popular in the market. They're already used in many markets. Thank you. Now let's move on to the other booth. Many high-tech technologies are used for industry or daily lives. So just now we've interviewed two examples, one for daily lives like traveling, the other, although seem like a usual camera, but applicable to industry. And it can greatly improve the production efficiency. Now let's find their staff member to introduce. Could you please introduce your product? My name is Zhang Jiayu. This is our typical AI technology. With this technology, we can empower more vendors. Because it's open source, the vendors can access our technology for free when they're manufacturing products. This is our AI gallery. In an interactive means, we offer more experience. Now let's take a photo. So it can then generate a picture like this one. It can be applied to many photo processing apps like Meitu Xiuxiu. With that fundamental technology, it can support AI development. It looks like an oil painting. Yes, the effect is oil painting. There are different categories of painting, so we can produce different types of pictures. So girls love our product. And here is the Wechat exhibition. That's a small applet on Widget. Sometimes the students are unable to carry their cell phones, but they need to get in contact with their family in emergency, so we can have facial recognition. It can automatically recognize you and then get some contact information of this person. For example, your family members' contact info. Because it's a laser version, it needs authorization, but usually they need to scan, and such a technology is mainly applied to schools and universities. It can also have audio and video. In real scenarios, there will be no problem of authorization, but since it's a beta version, it's not the final product. They can be installed on Widget. So the kids don't need to carry cell phones, but with this technology, they can directly contact their parents. Yes, their parents will get notification on Wechat. I'll come back later. What about this? Those are about the connection of Wechat with hardware. This is a light bulb, and it's an interactive game. Through iPad, you can control the light bulbs. On iPad, you control the light bulb, and in the meantime, you're playing a game. The Wechat ID is widely applied in home appliance. For example, live streaming. In many smart home appliances, we sometimes have to download different apps to control them. But on Wechat, there will be one access. After connecting through Bluetooth or cloud, you can control the hardware through Wechat. So in the future, the curtains or lights or refrigerators at home could all be controlled through cell phone. Yes, in Wechat. You directly link your Wechat with those home appliances, and you don't need to download any other app to control those appliances. So Widget ID scan all of those home appliances and then control them. Now let me show you. Sorry, low power. If you can't find it, you can just click search and you get the equipment. like this fan. It's Wechat. We use Widget a lot. If there is any notification, it will be sent through Widget. What about different brands? Could it accommodate different brands? There will be one platform. The vendors produce those devices, and developing them is less costly, so it's quite popular to connect their products with our system. It's installed in the dormitory. Also, for the students to contact their family when they're not carrying cell phones. You need to scan your face beforehand, and I must bind my contact with the equipment. You click your Wechat. For example, I want to find like my children. So I am holding a cell phone like a parent, and you can act like a student. So you hold this telephone, and then you can directly call me through this equipment by scanning your face. Yes, because many schools don't allow cell phones for kids. And in this technology, they can contact their parents in a video form. It's a very practical technology. Compared to traditional telephone, like inserting a card in to call someone, this is a big advancement because it's in audio and video. Thank you for your time. Let's move to the other booth. Since we use Widget a lot, with some advanced technologies, Widget are producing many small applets and many systems to solve the pain points in our daily lives. For example, that video conferencing solves the problem of kids unable to call their parents at school without a cell phone. It's a very good design. Let's check this booth. So are you the responsible person? My name is Liu Yang from Alibaba, and we want to exhibit two sides. One is about Ali Cloud, the other is commercial products. This is the first cloud computer of Alibaba. We are used to the big PC. All of those processing and storages are kept in that big PC, but in this computer, they are all put on the cloud. And as you can see, this is the storage device. It's very small. It's portable. And more importantly, it's more customized to the users. If you want to have a simple algorithm, you can buy a cheaper version. And when you want to use it in your office, you just put this device in your pocket. This is already a computer. Once it's connected with a speaker or a screen, it can be transmitted. So the hard disk and so on will be replaced in the future. Yes, the storage will be done on the cloud. It can support 1.5 T contents as long as you buy enough algorithm. You can even do animation. This is our Shenlong server. Last November, during the shopping spree, that was a peak. The speed was as fast as 523,000. It is a combination of high performance and high flexibility. This is locker. It seems like the delivery locker in our buildings. Since now we are championing the contactless delivery, so when you put this cabinet in the universities or office buildings, not just the delivery man from Ele.me can put the products in those lockers. All of those other delivery could be kept here. For Ele.me, Meituan, they sent food, but for the other packages, they can also be accommodated here. The users will just take them away from these lockers. Usually, the lockers do not allow the takeaway food, but for ours, it can receive the food. So it's widely applied right now nationwide. Thank you for your time.
您好，哪位是我们场馆的负责人？给我们介绍一下这个情况。就是我们这个场馆里主要展示的是什么东西？
我们这个呢是展示我们蚂蚁集团的。
So what's in your exhibition?
因为蚂蚁本身我们是一个科技公司，所以
The comprehensive technology power of Ant Financial. And since we are a technology company, so as you can see in our exhibition, we show you the comprehensive capabilities technologically. So what's the core of your products? We have some core products called Ant Chain. It's already world-leading technology. This is an integrated machine. It can show the hardware and software power of Ant. They will all be connected on the chain. For example, the Chongqing company, once owning this technology, all of the information on the chain aren't going to be corrected, so there will be no error on the chain. If anyone rewrite the information on the chain, it will be exposed. So what's your edge? Blockchain is usually transparent. It's not going to be corrected. So it's safe on the chain. From the safety perspective, when applied to many scenarios, we can guarantee there will be no fraudulent behaviors. Particularly, you can source the information. Like when you buy the milk powder, do you want to know whether the milk powder is packaged in China or in the US? With this technology, all of the info will be on the chain. You will know that the packages were already done in the US and then they apply for customs clearance to China. So in international trade, it facilitates in globalization, and this blockchain can facilitate the process. In traditional trade businesses, for example, Rwanda coffee beans, one on board the ship through the waterway, it will arrive at, for example, China, and then clears the customs, and then we could get the packages. Usually they have to wait several months to get the charges back for the producers, and then the producers could use that money to reproduce the coffee beans. But for our product, based on trust and technology, when both parties signed up to this order, they could instantly get the money from the buyer. So it is like shortening the distance of both sides, and the SMEs could get more benefits from this chain. To give you another example, in China, Dangshan pear is very popular because of the good quality. But the problem is the pears are produced in Dangshan village in Anhui province. No one can tell whether one pear is produced in Dangshan or not by just the appearance. But now you can scan the code on Alipay, and you can get the production information of this product. And you will know that the whole process of the production is conducted in certain ways. Please pay attention to the hash value. It's independent. It's unable to be corrected. It's sold about dozens of RMB yuan, but it's truly produced in Dangshan. Although there are a lot of counterfeits in the market, but with our technology, we can deliver trust and faith to the buyers. We are like the backup of the credibility of the sellers. The seller may buy the seeds with thousands of RMB yuan, and the village committee will have to put their stamps on their application form, and then they have to go to the banks to have a credit. And they can go online to apply for the credit from the online banks. And with their satellite remote technology, they could get the total area of their piece of land to know how much credit they can get from the bank. So with this big data analysis, we can accelerate the process of credit application. They can get the money instantly instead of waiting for long. This technology enables the farmers to quickly develop themselves. So we call this campaign the Technology Empowering Farmers. Some of the high technologies are not in our province, but when applied to our daily lives, our industrial production, they are very helpful. This expo is kicked off today and will last until the 25th. In these days, me and my colleague will bring you the live show of this Smart China Expo 2021 on different CCTV channels. We will show you the contents real time. So this is the end of today's briefing. Thank you.